Improvasaurus. Roar!
Back in my day, we didn't have bowling balls. If you needed to see if something was 16 pounds or not, why, you measured it against, well, really anything else. It wasn't that much more difficult, honestly. Probably easier. Back in my day, we didn't have bowling balls. If you needed to play a rousing game of 10 pins, why, you simply found a Chinaman and hacked off his head and used that as a ball. That's horrible. Primitive as it was. They grew back.
Back in my day, we didn't have bowling balls, so if you wanted to knock down 12 pins, you had to use a baseball bat.
Back in my day, we didn't have bowling balls, so if you needed to strengthen your 3 little fingers, why, you wrote letters to your friend Steve, who was in prison, and then the church straightened you out.
Back in my day, we didn't have bowling balls. And all those shoes were for dancing, not for lugging that ball and trying to kill those poor little wooden porcelain things. They look like they have heads.
Back in my day, we didn't have bowling, so if you wanted to watch Christina Aguilera videos in loud music under freaky lights, you went to Prince's house. Back in my day, we didn't have wrought iron. We made all of our boats out of cypress wood and gopher wood and all the other 13 things that were on Noah's Ark. Because I'm as old as Noah, that's what I'm getting at. Okay, over here.
Back in my day, we didn't have wrought iron. If you wanted a crowbar, you had to take crows, kill them, line up their bones together, wrap them in the feathers and make them real strong, and then that's how you broke into cars.
That's terrible.
You had cars?
Oh.
Back in my day, we didn't have wrought iron, and our children fell from balconies willy-nilly.
Back in my day, we didn't have rotten iron. Because Rush didn't exist when I was 7.
Back in my day, we didn't have wrought iron. We had to make do with paper cuffs, and our slaves ran away free. Back in my day, we didn't have wrought iron. We made our chicken coops out of dreams in hopes that the coyotes wouldn't get in. They often did, and we went very hungry often during the winter.
Back in my day, we didn't have wrought iron. It's only since the vitamin commercialization of health came into the market, try to make me put that stuff in my body. I don't understand. Iron in my body.
Back in my day, we didn't have wrought iron, so there were no horseshoes. Our rabbits were tremendously scared for luck. Because horseshoes are lucky. As are rabbits' foots. Back in my day, we didn't have wrought iron. If we wanted to build a house with nails, that was a luxury. Mostly we made do with spit and baling twine.
Back in my day, we didn't have wrought iron, so if you wanted to cook something, you had to cook it on a rock. there was no wrought iron pans.
Back in my day, we didn't have iron. Don't let that Howard Pyle fella fool you.
Back in my day, we didn't have wrought iron. So kids dressed up as Spider-Man and Hulk instead.
Back in my day, we didn't have wrought iron, so our clothes were rather wrinkly at all times, much like my skin today. Mwah. We didn't have Hawaiian shirts back in our day. Why, if you wanted to look like Charlie Sheen, you simply got yourself some methamphetamine and cocaine. Those are drug references. I apologize for the younger in the audience.
Back in my day, we didn't have Hawaiian shirts, so there was no way to tell a native from a tourist. They all blended in.
Back in my day, we didn't have such a thing as Hawaii. Our pineapple needs were grossly underserved.
Back in my day, we didn't have Hawaiian shirts because it was considered offensive to wear the remains of humans.
Back in my day, we didn't have Hawaiian shirts. So all our commercials for going to the islands and skiing and doing all those fun things that they do on the beach, it didn't exist. People were much happier not knowing that that life was out there.
Back in my day, we didn't have Hawaiian shirts. If you thought a man was homosexual, you turned him over to the church and they straightened him out.
Back in my day, we didn't have Hawaiian shirts. So, when you went to a luau, you just wore normal clothes.
Back in my day, we didn't have Hawaiian shirts. My bowling alleys were filled with nude men.
And we liked it.
Some of us did, and then we sent them to the church. We're straightening out.